Always, you're not gonna live past 19. Life and times of Dante. Oh, of course, Big U. My alias name. I just feel like if I make it out of this and I do get past 19, I'm gonna change my life.
What it do, man? It's crazy how Big U said if I make it past 19, I'm gonna change my life. Well, who knows if that's the truth, man, because 40 years later, at 59 years old, it seems like, he's getting caught up with the same things he said he was gonna change 40 years ago. And, the consequences, man. But let's get right into this video, y'all, because we're gonna deep dive into Big U's legacy in these streets, who he is, all the things on social media, his beef with Nipsey, his legend on the streets, the rolling 60s. Let's get into it.
It's our old house, man. This is where we grew up at. This is like a major part of the hood. And my Uncle D lived in this house. My Auntie Sue lived in that house. Brothers and sisters. We used to have picnics in the backyard. We knew everybody up and down the street. When I was young, I used to always hear my dad. They used to tell me my dad used to do construction. So naturally, you would hear this guy did. And so my mom used to buy erector sets. Not only me had erector sets, my cousin had them. We all had them. We would build models. That's all you could do. Wasn't no video games. It was about building and doing stuff with your hands. I knew how to turn on the water when they came and cut our water off. As soon as they leave and cut my mom's water off, I know how to cut it back on. I had only sisters. They had best friends, so that means it was always girls in my house. So if the house is full of girls, my mama let me go to the hood. It was really just a lot of love on this block. Here go my cousin right here. Man. His daddy is the one who bought this house. This was our whole life. This is the most valuable house in the world right here to us. We'd pay $1 million for this right now. Man, this is the first place we moved to on the AG. This was make us AGs.
Where y'all come from? Where y'all stay at anyway?
Number one, we want
Huh? What street y'all come from?
5'9".
5'9".
There was 10 other kids we grew up like from 5, 6 years old, become best friends, and everything we did together on Arlington.
That's you?
We later became what we called the Arlington Gang. My big cousin, Chili Capone, he was the one that called the shots for the AGs. The group of AGs that we was on our side, he was 2 years older than me, but he was probably 10 years smarter than all of us. From the Arlington Gang, that eventually morphed into our section of what was the rolling 60s.
Y'all thought you was a cool guy.
You thought wrong, bro.
Welcome to 63rd Street.
Can't no grown man face without asking.
But you're a celebrity.
Man, I'm a 60 Crip, bro. First.
Okay.
All right, so learn about that, my nigga. Don't play with me.
Welcome to 63rd Street, home turf of the rolling 60s, part of the largest street gang in all of Los Angeles, a gang called the Crips.
What it means to the community. To the community, it means terrorism. I did a lot of stuff over a period of time. The shit that I know that I was a part of, man, I'm fighting for redemption.
The 60s, we had a lot of numbers. We had a lot of elite guys before my time that was known for fighting, karate. They pumped fear into civilians.
What do you do that makes people so fearful?
We can walk into a place and that'll make people fearful just knowing that it's rolling 60s.
I think being a gang member is enough for your friends. In such a jungle where it's so territorial, everybody fighting over these real scraps, lack of resources. So you got.
Our neighborhood is so big that we're on both sides of Crenshaw, both sides of Slauson, and we go down from La Brea to Arlington. So it's
The name. I'm just in the first generation of it becoming rolling 60s. We the babies in that.
If if you need some help or something, they're the ones who come right there and help you.
Around here, people take care of each other. Gangbang is a gang of black brothers trying to make it, man.
Gangbanging played a lot in everything we did. We beat up everybody we can get our hands on. We all took martial arts. We used to train right here in the front yard, kicking, fighting, training in the back. I mean, as cousins, we used to fight all the time.
That was just bullshit.
We took that to the hood. Everybody would know it. Them little niggas off the block, they can get out.
You better let the nigga know where you from, AG.
Have a reputation for fighting was everything back then. That was before guns. That was before guns came into play. You was pretty much known for your reputation.
Back in the day, Big U was kicking motherfuckers' asses. He had a reputation. Even back then, he was probably like 17.
I thought he was gonna try to attack.
It's a false idea about gangbanging, like you do stuff to show everybody you bad. No, you do stuff so you don't have to do it down the line. So people understand the show they gonna get the next time when they do something with you.
Because I was a good fighter, respect was earned. I don't know too many people gonna follow somebody who can't fight. I went viral when I went viral. I had an altercation with the security guards at the supper club up here. We was going in. It's only 30, 40 minutes left in the club. This dude high or something.
Your homeboy high.
Yeah, they won't let him in. I'm like, I'm gonna stay out here with him. He just get off on the security guard for no apparent reason.
Get off, meaning?
He just fired on the dude. We're together, it's me by myself.
Big you straight up.
So I made the assessment. It's 15 of them. You fit to get your ass whooped. But how the rules go, I'm gonna get down where I'm mad at. I took flight.
Back up.
Blood filter in my eyes, so I couldn't see shit. I think I did pretty good, me versus 15. You know what I'm saying? Other niggas would have said fuck it and went back home and went and got their homeboys and said, come on, let's go. That's the difference between Big U and 90% of these motherfuckers. Probably about 200-300 dudes came to Hollywood, and the dudes from every set in LA really stood up and was offended by what they had seen. Because it's from every set was upset. There was a lot of violence against just clubs and security against clubs, and people expected 4 or 5 people to die. We got so many people dying over bull crap. I didn't really want to add to that. That's not the legacy I wanted to have. That was a misunderstanding, you know what I mean? Went too far. So we ended up shutting Hollywood down. We had to meet with the powers that be. You know, we had sat down with the owners of the supper club. They wrote me a check for over $200,000. We used about $70,000, $80,000 to do a food giveaway, toys.
Now, Big U was a monster in these streets, and it would be vouched for, including Trade E, who would agree that Suge Knight would meet some resistance at death row if Big U was around. So, it confirms that Big U was a monster for sure. But also, of course, him fighting 15 Samoans in his own words. He took off on all of them, even though they ended up making him bleed and put hands on him real tough. But at the same time, Big U lets it be known that he's one of the top fighters in LA.
So, were you out when death row started to build up and corrupt started?
Not at all.
You were in jail the whole time?
Never happened when I had no death row.
What do you mean?
I love Suge to death, but he definitely wouldn't have been moving around LA like that. Because in LA at the time, you wasn't saying blood. You wasn't wearing no red at that time. That wasn't happening. And you definitely weren't moving like that without major situations. You know what I mean? And I think what was able to give rise to Suge, to the growth in Suge to move like he was the riots. The unity from the riot, gaming on each other, that's really what gave rise to Death Row.
You got it?
Yeah.
So explain it to me from your point of view.
Well,
because he basically said there wouldn't have been a death row had he been, to the level where it got at, the way Suge was moving around, if Big U didn't go to prison.
Yeah, Big U was a monster in the streets at that time. He still has a very high level of respect, not saying he lost any of it. Mm-hmm. But then he was more reactionary and proactive with the cripping. And, 60s are a major force. And I guess he's probably saying Corrupt wouldn't have been over there, maybe, to make that addition to Death Row. And at the same time, Suge, like he said, the riots, the peace treaty, that gave an opening to a lot of people to start socializing with one another.
Right, because
it'll take 5 or 6 of my little nephew to deal with me.
Right.
In the other doc, they say that I'm pretty good. I'm 54 and I can still, demonstrate.
Yeah.
But anyway, I love my kids. It's just a fact.
Right.
But it's over that night. It's over 2 days night. It don't go nothing.
Right.
Can't nobody really see me in my city, in my town.
Right.
Because I'm going to go myself if it come to that.
Right.
I don't need no nigga to do nothing for me.
Right.
Yes, I did inspire the Devo kids. And I had knocked out a dude's eye. So his eye came out. And it was
What do you mean eye? How the hell you knocked somebody's eye out? Eye came out?
So eye came out.
I heard you used to study martial law.
And I caught the case and his eye came out. I'm just praying like, oh, Lord, fuck.
Yeah, we still don't know how the eye just popped out. I'm checking mine now to make sure mine is...
car. I needed the key to the car. So if I could get them the actual key, and then it was a foreign car, we started robbing. I had a little ring going. It was really successful, hella successful. And when I finally eventually got caught, I ended up going to Central Juvenile Hall. There was so many cases that they could not find me guilty of. That actual time led up to me getting kicked out of California. They couldn't find me guilty or nothing because witnesses, of course, weren't cooperating at that time. But they refused to release me to custody to my mother. So my mother contacted my father and said, don't know where they'll release him if you come get him. So that's when my father flew out here to come get me out of Central Juvenile Hall. I got sent to Chicago. I get a call that he got killed. He was 2 years older than me. He had that oomph. And he could fight like a motherfucker. I came back to LA. I get a call that he got killed. I feel like when I contemplate, I think about the people I lost, and I feel like had I not been gone, a lot of them wouldn't be gone either. That, to me, was a major turning point in my life and our lives in Arlington.
When Chili Capone was killed and Big U comes back, he really had a chip on his shoulder. And that's kind of like spiraled his anger to another level.
Jail, and you hadn't been in jail yet. The first music you was gonna hear, first time we ever seen people live other than in concerts, was at World on Wheels skating rink.
World on Wheels was the premier place to go in LA on a Sunday night because you had pretty girls, a lot of brothers like to dance and skate, you had good music knockout.
World on Wheels, it used to be a spot where, the 60s wasn't really welcome up there, but they would come anyway. This wasn't their neighborhood. It was a whole nother side of West LA.
Would be Big U. Face of the 60s, whether people like it or not, would be Big U. But early 80s, some people thought Big U was this square, this big goofy guy that wore glasses, until they found out he could fight like a motherfucker.
It was every gang in there. We fighting every Friday, every Saturday, and we would be right there in the back of the parking lot, setting up fades and dudes fighting. Dudes knew that I was gonna give a dude a head up squabble, and he wasn't gonna win. I wasn't even gonna mess the jury curl up. That's how I got my reputation from whooping niggas at World on Wheels skating rink. Bros used to come up to me like, "Are you gonna fight tonight?" You know what I'm saying?
Invited me to go to World on Wheels skating rink. It was my first time going there. My friend introduced me to Big U. He was young. He was getting it how he could get it in the streets, trying to help his family, trying trying to help his mom. He just had that street life. It was exciting to me because I didn't know that side even existed until I met him. He made me give my number to one of his homeboys. So it kind of developed from that.
Because it was ours, that gave us the run of what it was catering, which gave us the run of LA at the time. For the whole 60s, a sense of power starts to grow.
And the only thing they hear is Rollin 60s, because that's where it's at. Numero uno. You know what I'm saying?
Now, Big U would go viral for his altercation with Nipsey Hussle, and ever since Nipsey passed away, people seem to believe to this day that he was involved. Now, before you even had the Nipsey Hussle situation, you had Fats. You know, so Fats was very close to Nipsey Hussle, part of the All Money In crew. That was like Nipsey Hussle and Black Slam's best friend growing up. And ever since he passed away, a lot of people was not knowing what happened because he passed away and nobody got convicted. So as of recently, you know, like about 6 months to a year ago, you had the situation where somebody from the Rollin 60s and Whack 100 would say how Big U was responsible for his death. Now, whether that's true or not, who's to say? But it does seem like, you know, from that situation and from the situation he had where he had an altercation with Nipsey Hussle, that made him and Black Sam fall out, and they would never ever have their relationship sorted out. And to this day, Big U and Black Sam would not see eye to eye. So we gonna break down exactly what happened between the Big U beef with Nipsey Hussle and Black Sam, and why Big U don't really like Black Sam. Seems like somebody who really knows what they talking about is gonna break it down. So let's get right into it. Nipsey and Sam were and still prominent figures in Crenshaw until Nipsey passed away. Although Black Sam never joined the Rollin 60s, he was a highly respected individual in the area and one of the major plugs of many of the 60s for various things before he fully focused on the store and running Nipsey's All Money In label. Many people don't know that Nipsey's daughter's mother is actually Big U's niece. There was a point in time when Nipsey and his daughter's mother were bumping heads, and allegedly she had brought some people around his daughter or put her in an environment within the house he was very upset by: drugs, alcohol, and things of that nature. From people I know who are very close to him and the family, in 2011, Nipsey allegedly went over to his daughter's mother's residence by himself and badly beat up and pistol whipped an individual who was with his son's mother at the time for having his daughter in an unsafe environment, sending him to the hospital. Big U got word of this and pulled up to the store while Nipsey was there and pressed him about it. I cannot confirm, but allegedly his aggression had caused some sort of bodily harm to his daughter's mother as well. Nipsey said things that Big U didn't like, and they fought in an alley near the store. Allegedly, Big U beat up Nipsey pretty badly and more than enough. He also threatened Black Sam, who went in the store, retrieved a pistol, and shot one time in the air to get Big U off his brother. LAPD arrived within 1 minute of Sam's warning shot and arrived seeing some of the scuffle and Black Sam holding his pistol. LAPD immediately opened fire on Black Sam from about 30 yards away. Somehow, not one bullet hit Sam, and they were all ordered on the ground, roughed up and handcuffed, while the chopper hovered over the store and taken to jail that night. They would all bail out the next morning. Nip and Big U settled their differences just a few weeks after the incident and got back close around late 2016 and were on good terms when he passed. Big U was even his road manager on his promo tour for the Victory Lap promo during the release.
You said you and Nip were on good terms when he died. Yes. How did this conspiracy theory thing in life?
Yeah, and then I'm gonna keep it 100. Me and his brother wasn't cool. Me and his brother weren't the best of friends. You gotta understand, like I'm gonna have friends that my mama ain't gonna like. I'm gonna have friends that my brother's not gonna like. So you know me, I'm still kind of like, you know, hey, I'm high. Never happened. Okay. We didn't have a problem.
Okay.
Wasn't nobody making no money.
Right.
It was no money. We never had a problem. I just left.
Right.
Then when I decided when my son come home from college, he want to do music.
Right.
So I'm like, okay, when we get the equipment, we're gonna put it somewhere where we can all get to it.
Right.
That's when they got upset, and he made the song. I don't rap.
That song never came up.
It did come out.
It did come out?
It did come out. I don't know, it wasn't never pushed as a song, but it came out. And I mean, I don't rap, I scrap. And this is my neighborhood, my nigga. You know what I'm saying? This is my land. This is my piece of rock. I fought for this nigga. I ain't gave this up. I'm still here every single day. You know what I'm saying? Like, but it goes with what we was talking about. The bunch of young niggas who only heard of Big U.
And they only heard of that. It was an actual fight. There wasn't no fight.
I mean, it was, you know, come on, man, come on. You know what I mean? It would take 5 or 6 of my little nephew to deal with me. You know, in the other doc, they say that I'm pretty good. I'm 54 and I still, you know, demonstrate. But anyway, I love my kids. It's just a fact. You know, but it's over that night. It's over 2 nights night. It don't go nothing. Can't nobody really see me in my.
While Big U and Nipsey Hussle's relationship would become better and they would sort out their differences, it wasn't until 2016, 5 years after their altercation, that they would become friends again. But with Black Sam and Big U, they would never ever ever have a relationship after the situation where he pulled out a gun on Big U and shot fire into the air.
That melee had everybody calling in, trying to reconcile it. That's why the meeting was called that Money Mike Shop. But both of us was still mad. So when he came through that door, he turned up on Big U. Come on out here, let's get this in. He turned that down like his collar. Dead homies. Big U didn't want nothing to do with this dude. Strong as an ox. Short, pudgy. With a knockout. Center gravity. Couldn't see Nip. How the hell was he gonna see both the fast? Dead homies. But the situation was something that he never could forgive. We know this. Everything the marathon members did from that point on, it seemed like, or let's say allegedly, they tried to undermine it. Flocking their stuff. Small break-ins, vandalism. But how do you get in the mix with somebody that don't need you? One mysterious day, he get a call. I got some more flight, bro. Come outside. Man, they had security, so both the fast in there in flip-flops and shorts. Marathon shirt. He comfy. Like chestnuts roasting over an open fire. He come outside in flip-flops. Looking both ways, looking for this dude. Like, where he at? He said he right here on the corner of West Boulevard and 59th. Dude's still on the phone with him. Dead homies. By the time he made it to that corner, he was ambushed. And that dude was the last one seen rolling off.
That's rolling on, my nigga. Feel me? Life of a rap star. Hustle Wilson, night boys.
Well, 2009, we did the LAX tour with Game. That was Nipsey's first tour, and Nipsey was the opening act. Game with a mobile home. And he gave me the mobile home. From that, we were on the road to mobile home.
I called Arizona, San Diego last night on accident.
And they still love you. They still cheer for you.
Talking about some San Diego, I love you.
They gonna get it in.
You feel me? Yeah.
Titty, what up?
Big U.
I myself believe that he has played a major role in Nipsey's untimely death.
I know a motherfucking hit when I see one. This shit is a straight hit. And Big U was all in it.
I feel like that nigga Big U did it. That's what it was. Nipsey was really the face of the 60s. Niggas really do be jealous because they really will kill you because you're doing something.
Know what they saying on social media? And I'm like, no. He was like, they saying that dad has something to do with Nipsey being killed. Then I got a 13-year-old at school. And I'm worried about her and what people are saying. So that, you know, that kind of came in my house and messed up my family.
The conspiracy. When I left the music industry, me and Nipsey had a fallout. He had my equipment, and I wanted to use my equipment. He got mad because I got my equipment back. So then that's when our conflict started. I ended up getting the equipment back and said, I'm going to move it right here at my shop on 43rd and Crenshaw. And then everybody can get there all the time. Nip, you can get to it when you want to. So he got mad.
You ain't gonna get on my way, you on my way, bro.
He ain't like that. He's supposed to make a diss song about me. Well, I ain't no rapper, I'm a scrapper. So we end up having to come talk about that. Pull up the homies, and Nip admit it's wrong, but still there's some consequences to your wrong. I came to pick him up that morning so he can get his discipline. And his brother got in the way, talking about my brother not going nowhere. If I was his brother, I'd have did the same thing. Like, you're not going nowhere with these niggas. I would have did the same shit. But I mean, you're not from 60s though. And you're not from the hood, so, you know, you can't really speak on hood business. And really, that's really what happened.
My impression of Big U, that when you heard about him, you don't want to cross him. And he had a reputation for being a really tough person. When first came on my radar, he was wanted for murder.
That was my first experience of being in the county jail. That was 4800. Cell block 4800 was where they put all Crips from certain sets, because the Crips had started getting so strong, they had wanted to start separating the Crips inside the jail. I was 18 when I got there. I'll never forget it when you opened the door at 4800, I saw you see a gush of wind. Whoosh. And then all you hear is a bunch of men. It sounded like an insane asylum. Damn, nigga, did I make it to hell? When you look down the tier, you see shit throwing over the tier, and you see motherfuckers' hands out the bars, and then you thinking like, you're 18 and you're ready for it. And at my age, I felt like I wanted to go to 4800, because I felt that's where you had to go to prove yourself.
Certain individuals that was from our neighborhood went to the county jail, module 4800. They were like some of the ultimate dudes. They all had big names. And so you want to be as tough as the next guy.
4800 was crazy. Every day you get up, you're going to have a fight. Until you prove yourself. Them niggas wasn't moving right in 4800. They was either recruiting niggas, raping niggas, and doing shit like that. 4800 wasn't cool to me.
When I first saw you 4800, you was holding somebody's head like this, and you was pounding on them. You was pounding on them. No,
3 days later.
No, but no, you was pounding on them. I mean, dude couldn't even fight back, didn't want to fight back. He just gave in. I liked how he represented himself. He didn't go at them. They came at him.
If all the niggas who claim to be this and that, G's and all that, if they would have been what they supposed to be, I could have never became me. I got out in 87. Under one lawyer, dude beat all my cases. I ended up coming home just on probation.
We were taught there is no one leader from Rollin 60s. But Big U went to the county jail, and he brought some order to that module. He brought it all together. He was the glue. And so now they were
arrested for some bull crap. They had 5 different police departments up here. Man, they filled this whole lockup. It was ridiculous. It was ridiculous what they did.
This is a very special Christmas because Dante is here. Last Christmas, folks, I wasn't here. I was in Egypt. Everybody out of here. Just give a word of thanks. Well, I want to give you
That's what people say. It was always, you're not going to live past 19.
Life and Times of Dante. Oh, of course, Big U. My alias name.
I just feel like if I make it out of this, and I do get past 19, I'm going to change my life.
Look here.
Going to go sell dope everywhere else, I would only come to LA for maybe a week. I wouldn't stay in LA more than a week or two. I'd come take care of some business, then I'm out. I was getting money. I was hustling. I'm in and out of town. I'm in and out of Minnesota. I'm in and out of Atlanta, selling drugs. In the process of taking drugs from Minnesota to Chicago to sell, I read Malcolm X's autobiography.
And we have to.
I can't tell the homies my mind ain't like, my mind ain't on killing the corners and banging like that. The name is so big and ominous. Every time I go through a door, it's Big U coming through the door. I really was a beast. I mean, that was the mentality. So I was still like I was in that wobble. Nowhere making no money. You know what I mean? I was in jail, I lost a family member. When my little brother got killed, I was in Calapat State Prison. Slim got killed, I was in 4800. When Lee Mack got killed, I was in Lancaster. When Stone got killed, I was in 1750. When GB died, I was in Susanville. Yeah. So a lot of my love was lost while I was gone. I was doing time. For 3 years and 9 months, I was in the hole. I got out the hole 17 days before I paroled. I did 13 years in prison. I'm free. At 37 years old, I get free. I'm a grown-ass man at 37.
His emotions when he got out in 04. Well, hell, I know he was happy. I've never been on the other side of the gates to really know and understand what it would feel like to come through the gates and then just have all this freedom and know that I did it and it's over with and I'm free.
Outside of the gate. Right before I left prison, I remember I was on the yard with one of the brothers from Hoover, and he was like, bro, when you get home, are you going to take your neighborhood to another level? Or are you going to go home and fall victim to the homeboyism in the neighborhood? If you're expecting to see this gorilla come home and he's supposed to get the whole hood in order and, I mean, I can't even outlive the stories that I done heard about me myself. I heard so many stories about Big U myself, man. I walk in the room and sometimes I use the Big U name. I walk and be like, man, I know Big U.
One of a few men that could touch any yard and unify all races and within our own race, both sides of the coin, Bloods and Crips, and then bring these people together and begin to build.
I did 13 years in prison. Now, I'm free. And then I go to work. I'm building.
As the walls closed in on Big U and his alleged activities, he would say a final goodbye and make a public statement before turning himself in, along with his family right beside him, and pretty much indicating whack 600 again is the reason he got called up, maybe because they was doing too much online. Nevertheless, that was the legacy, man, of Big U before his downfall. I mean, with the RICO Act, I don't see how he can escape this, but let me know what y'all think, man. Thanks for tuning in, y'all.
I'm going to go turn myself in to see what's going on. They talking about I'm a fugitive, so they just raided all my houses. 600 was actually with the police when they raided my house, And he's actually got video and footage of it. So y'all know what y'all dealing with. And I just want to say this to y'all. When they raided my houses and my property, they was asking about whack, loose cannon, 600, and this internet stuff. All of y'all filed. All y'all who be sending shit around the internet, all y'all who be promoting and listening to what these niggas saying, all y'all giving these likes and hidden likes, all y'all supporting this. All y'all guilty of this fuck shit. If you had something against a black man, you should handle it with a black man in the streets. Wack said 100 times he was gonna take my contracts. He working with the FBI. The FBI went to the city 3 days in a row and told the city they didn't want nobody to give me no more money. They went to all the different celebrities and told all the different celebrities, don't give me no money, don't help me, don't do nothing for me. They going around scaring and intimidating everybody. But y'all sitting it around getting people in trouble. Like y'all don't understand what the FBI do to black men who try to help their community. I ain't been nothing but a help to our community. But I guess it is what it is. This the price of being black and trying to help somebody, trying to help your community and do what you can. You just guilty because somebody else don't like you and they can go on the internet and do what the fuck they want to and y'all gonna promote it. It's crazy. But I'm going to go turn myself in, though. Because I ain't did nothing.
Breaking news just coming into our newsroom. 2 fugitives wanted by the FBI, including a longtime accused LA gang leader, now in custody tonight.
Let's get right to Mark Hotorellis, who joins us now with new developments live in the newsroom. Mark?
Yeah, David and Ellen, good evening. We've been following this story throughout the day. Federal officers arrested more than a dozen members tied to the gang known as the Rollin 60s Neighborhood Crips, though its leader was on the run. Well, within the last 20 minutes, the FBI announcing that man, Eugene Henley Jr., a.k.a. Big U, is now in custody. We have just learned new details that Henley turned himself in. Earlier, Air 7 was overhead as some of the alleged gang members were being processed at the FBI's LA field office. 19 were indicted. The FBI says Henley headed up the local Crips gang for decades. And investigators say that he painted himself as an entertainment executive who's been giving back to the community with various charities, but they say Henley is a violent criminal. A woman who knew him says that he has had a positive impact on the community.
He was incredible, whether it was a 7-year-old child or a 50-year-old former gang member coming out of incarceration. His ability to communicate and relate was excellent. If these charges are true, because they're still allegations, they are not a done deal, they're allegations. If they're true, then Eugene Henley was somebody who presented 2 faces to this world.
Charges in this gang bust range from racketeering to murder. A second fugitive the FBI was looking for was also apprehended. The FBI says Henley is from the Hyde Park area of South LA. If convicted, he would face a max sentence of life in federal prison. We are told that he should be in court.
The street gang here. As I said, Mr. Henley is a widely known leader within the Rollin 60s. He rose to prominence in that gang decades ago, and he has since been a fixture on the internet, talk shows, and podcasts, all things that law enforcement have looked at closely as part of this investigation. He has maintained the image of an entertainment industry entrepreneur, running a music label, and of somebody who gives back to the community here in Los Angeles, funding a South LA-based charity, developing options, which purports to help at youth risk escape gang life and escape the perils of gangs in high crime areas. The facts alleged in the complaint paint a very different picture. It is one of a murderer, a thief, a liar, and a cheat, and the criminals that enabled him. For example, Mr. Henley engaged in a murder of a musician signed to his label in 2021 and dumped the victim's body in Las Vegas off of the I-15 freeway. He then attempted to evade and obstruct the investigation into the murder, including ordering witnesses not to speak with law enforcement. Henley's criminal enterprise also engaged in other crimes, including transporting prostitutes across state lines, extorting strip clubs, marijuana dispensaries, and other businesses, and fraudulently applying for COVID loans in the form of a business relief loan. On that application, Mr. Henley falsely stated that his music label, Unique Music, operated at a $200,000 profit in 2019 and was entitled to government assistance.